So after just over 19 months on the carnivore diet, I've suddenly started gaining some weight, and I'm not sure why. Hi there, if you've not visited my channel before, my name is Sue and I've been on the carnivore diet for just over 19 months now. And since I've been on carnivore, mostly I've had very slow but steady kind of weight loss, no real gains apart from right at the beginning. So it's really common for people to gain weight, especially women, it seems, when they first go onto the carnivore diet. In particular, if they've been on a highly plant-based diet, because I think it's just quite often there's nutritional deficiencies and your body just wants more food, and so it makes you really hungry. I know in my case, I was really hungry and ate a lot when I first started on carnivore. That's all settled down now. So I was quite surprised that I had actually, to find that I'd started to gain some weight. Now, at first I thought, oh, it's just, a little fluctuation, because that happens, little fluctuations, and you kind of go up and down, up and down. But this has ended up being 4 kilos that I have put on, which is just about 9 pounds. So I had put a little bit on and wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to that. And then all of a sudden there was another couple of kilos that went on, and it went on fairly quickly. And my scales, so I've got a set of bathroom scales that show body composition, so body fat and skeletal weight and muscle and everything else. Initially, they were showing that my lean mass had gone up, and so I was like, oh, that's fine. I started doing a little bit more exercise. Hubby and I have actually started doing some sprinting, or our form of sprinting, every couple of days or so. And so I thought, well, it's possibly that. But then that changed, like over Christmas, and since Christmas, the body fat measurements have gone up. My visceral fat has gone back up according to the scales, and so that kind of got me a little bit concerned, because my visceral fat had finally got down into what the Tanita scales say is a healthy range, and now it's jumped back up again. So I don't actually feel like I've gained weight. So that's something else that's kind of confusing me, because I still feel like I'm kind of getting smaller, especially up around the top part of my body. I tried on a couple of tops that I haven't been able to wear, and they're getting closer to being able to wear them. So that kind of confuses me. Around the bottom half is still kind of staying as it's been for a little while, but the top half definitely seems to be getting smaller. So this has got me just a little bit confused. And over Christmas, it's common for people to gain weight, but I didn't really venture too far off my normal diet over Christmas. I had, on Christmas Day and maybe one day after, I had a little bit of some dried fruit that I'd bought, just some dried mango and dried berries. And I had some wine. So I ended up having 2 bottles of wine over 2 weeks, over through Christmas. So the first bottle I opened the day before Christmas, I think, and it was a low alcohol wine, and then I succumbed and opened the second bottle that I'd bought. I knew I shouldn't have opened it, but I did, and then I finished that over about 4 days, I think. So, and then I've had no more since. Maybe that played a part. I know that second bottle, the last couple of days that I was drinking that, I could feel the difference in my gut. So if you've not watched my videos, have a huge history of gut issues, and I feel like I'm finally resolving them using a SIBO protocol and making these long fermented yogurts. If you haven't seen my videos on those, and if you're interested, I will pop a link to one of those below so you can have a look. And so I feel like I'm finally getting there with my gut health, but alcohol does mess with your microbiome, so I just feel like it kind of set me back just a little bit. And so I was quite glad when I finished that bottle of wine. I had to finish it. I was really enjoying it. I haven't had wine for so long, and I was really enjoying those wines with lots of ice. But yeah, the second bottle was definitely a mistake, because the other thing that I noticed with my gut going backwards a little bit was kind of increased anxiety, which really sucks. So my question with this weight gain, is it a combination of body fat and lean mass, or is it one or the other? Is it extra fluid? So something that I did prior to Christmas was I started taking iodine again. Now, I've been very cautious with iodine for a lot of years, because I took it for about 18 months when I was in my probably mid-40s-ish, and I ended up with an overactive thyroid. And since then, I've been really sensitive to it. It always feels like if I take it, it kind of starts giving me hypothyroid symptoms again. And so that puts me off taking it. But I was wondering, because, I listen to lots of different people, and some of them are recommending that we take iodine on the carnivore diet. So I thought, well, if I take just one drop of nascent iodine a day, maybe that'll be okay. And so I started taking it, and I was taking it for about probably 3 weeks or maybe 4 weeks before Christmas. But what I noticed was that my feet started to swell, and at first I was like, is that just the humidity, because it's been really hot and humid? Is that just the humidity, or is that the iodine? And then I started to notice the kind of flat mood, and I had started taking my basal temperature in the morning after watching one of Paul Saladino's videos, and my basal temperature had been fairly close to normal, not quite, but fairly close to normal, whereas it used to always be really low years ago. And all of a sudden, over a couple of days, it started to drop. And I thought, okay, so this is the iodine that's doing this. So I stopped the iodine, and gradually my feet swelling has almost stopped. My feet quite often swell a little bit still when it's humid, but nothing like they have in the past. And so, yeah, that seems to have settled down, mood settled down, and I haven't actually taken my body temperature to find out whether that's gone back to normal, but I suspect that it has. So I'm wondering if that had something to do with it. Just maybe it dropped my thyroid down a bit and caused some quick weight gain. I don't know. And so then in one of my recent videos, I actually mentioned, because the iodine thing is still a problem, I thought, well, maybe I need to take selenium, because selenium, that's one of the reasons that iodine can cause problems, is if you're deficient in selenium. So I ordered some selenium and started taking that. And then I did a little bit of looking into some research on selenium, and I've stopped taking it again, because it reduces methylation. It can reduce methylation, which I definitely don't want, especially since I just found out that I have MTHFR gene variations, and so my methylation is probably quite buggered anyway. And the other thing is that it can cause, so low selenium, studies that show that low selenium as well as selenium supplementation can cause fibrosis of the heart, and lead to heart issues. So I thought that was kind of interesting that it's both ways. So it just confirms for me what I kind of already know, and that is that the answer is not in supplements. I've been a big one for taking supplements over the years, and it's just, I realize now that it's just another version of the pill for every ill. There's a lot of people who go to their doctor and get a pill for everything. They just think that a pill's going to fix it. But then there's those of us who are on a different wavelength, who are staying away from doctors and pharmaceutical drugs, who still are falling for the pill for every ill mentality, belief, paradigm, whatever you want to call it. And so there is places where you might need supplements for specific reasons, but I think that in particular when it comes to like vitamins and minerals and taking single nutrients or combinations of specific nutrients, they're in a form that your body might not be able to use the way that it would if it's in food. And also in some of these supplements, you have no idea what you're taking. I think there's some really dodgy supplement companies out there these days. And so you really don't know what you are consuming in those supplements. And if we can get the nutrition that we need from food, then that's always going to be the best bet. There are some supplements that are food, and they're a whole different ball game, I guess. I mean, things like collagen. So hubby and I are currently using marine collagen at the moment, and the reason for that is to do with this MTHFR gene variation thing. So we're just trying a few little bits and pieces. We have taken it in the past and found that it did have some benefit for his skin. So on the whole weight loss and weight gain side of things, I've been actually wondering for a while whether part of the reason for my slow weight loss has been cortisol, because I've been intermittent fasting most days of the week, often doing OMAD when I am working and seeing clients, simply because it's felt like the easier way to be because of my anxiety around the diarrhea and that I used to have. If I eat in the morning, it kind of plays on my mind a bit more and creates a bit of anxiety initially about, whether I need to go to the toilet or whatever. And so it's felt like it was easier for me to just not eat. The anxiety is still there, but it's not the same. Because what I find is when I do eat, that fight or flight thing that goes on in me makes me want to go to the toilet. And so even though I don't have diarrhea, it still will make me go to the loo. So it's a bit crazy, but it's just the way that my body works right now. It's been working like this for a very long time, and the whole mind part of having chronic diarrhea for years is very real. If you speak to other people that have had the same issue, that you'll find that they're the same, because that whole worry about needing to go to the toilet in a hurry is something that kind of plays on your mind, and it's hard to move past that even once the diarrhea stops, because I kind of keep expecting it to come back, if that makes sense. And so this week I actually started eating breakfast. So I've been having eggs in the morning. So I usually have 4 poached eggs, had boiled eggs one day, but usually 4 poached eggs. I was having butter with them initially, but I've stopped the butter just because it was making my bowel a little bit looser, and I didn't want that to happen. And I have started taking some bentonite clay when I first get up in the morning. So I have the bentonite clay, and then I wait for about an hour. I do my yoga and breathing and stuff that I've been doing after the bentonite clay, and then I'll have breakfast. And so I have, in the last couple of days, actually dropped nearly 1 of those kilos that I'd gained. So I don't know whether that's because I've stopped the iodine or whether it's because I'm having breakfast. I've been eating lunch most days as well, so doing 3 meals a day. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'd been thinking about doing another sardine fast to try and kind of kick things into gear again. But I might leave the sardine fast for a little bit and just see how I go with this eating 3 meals a day, and see what actually happens with my weight now that it's actually started to move down on the scales. So yeah, so this is all a little bit interesting, a little bit confusing, and trying to work things out. But it is for a lot of us. There's a lot of people on carnivore, especially women, but some men as well, whose bodies just don't behave the way everybody else's seem to. And it can be really frustrating. And for me, there's, like, especially now that my guts are starting to resolve and stuff, I really want to get some weight off. It's frustrating that it's going so slowly, but it is what it is. And as I've said in videos before, I can't force my body to do things. I've learned over the years that I can't make it do it. I just have to support it and keep myself in as good a place as I can with my diet and my emotional health, and my calming that nervous system down that kind of kicks that anxiety side of things off, and the stress side of things, because that I'm pretty certain is what's slowing my weight loss down, is the whole cortisol, that fight or flight thing being kind of switched on a lot of the time. So I'm wondering if eating in the morning will actually help that over time, just because if it lowers my cortisol, it might help to lower that kind of stress reaction that happens in my body. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with the whole gaining weight on carnivore, trying to lose weight on carnivore thing. If you've got any comments or questions, please pop them down below and I will get to them as soon as I can. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and I thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.